The Trump administration accidentally texted its war plans to the editor-in-chief at The Atlantic. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about that. This is real. This really happened. This is a very serious breach of national security and demonstrates a certain level of incompetence among the new administration, and no one cares. My immediate concern was considering the nightmare scenario it would be if the dumpster fire group chat was leaked to a journalist. Because that's all I care about is me. And we did bring in
our special guest.
A special dump.
Special dump. We did bring in our normie correspondent and my friend and comedian, Adrienne Iapalucci, everyone. Okay, so to give you the breakdown of what happened. On Tuesday, March 11th, Atlantic editor, do you know what The Atlantic is?
It's a newspaper.
Okay. Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg received a connection request on Signal from Michael Waltz, Trump's national security advisor. Signal, do you know what that is?
No.
It's an open source encrypted messaging service popular with journalists and others because it's more private than other text messaging services. So he thought, he being Jeffrey Goldberg.
Isn't that the guy that does like movies?
No.
Oh, that's Goldblum?
Jeff Goldblum.
Okay, close. They're still both Jews, right?
It's a lot of juice. Like a lot.
No.
I don't know, Jeff. He is, isn't he?
If your name has gold in it, I think you're Jewish. I think that's the rule. No?
Fair enough.
Okay, maybe not. I might be wrong.
Goldberg thought it was some kind of scam or trap and did not believe it was the real Michael Waltz. But he accepted just in case it was.
Yeah.
So the funniest part about the entire Atlantic article is that he spends a lot of it saying that he didn't believe that this was actually true.
I get that because I keep getting texts about my Easy Pass and how it's expiring and if I don't pay.
I do too.
And I keep thinking it's a scam.
No, it is a scam.
Right, but like that's probably what he thought. He's like, but I still do need Easy Pass.
He also thought it was like 4chan because do you know what 4chan is?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4chan will often troll people into making like asses of themselves, particularly journalists. Mm-hmm. And so he thought it was that, or then he thought it was also maybe like a Russian disinformation campaign because he couldn't.
Those both sound likely.
He couldn't believe that these people would be that dumb.
Who are we going to war with?
So 2 days later, Goldberg's added to a Signal chat called the Houthi PC Small Group.
Politically correct small group.
Do you know who the Houthis are?
I thought it was Hootie and the Blowfish people.
No. The code name Hootie and the Blowfish.
Houthis, that could be like they're like groupies.
There were a lot of funny jokes in the aftermath of this that were like new phone who this with who. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. The Houthis are an Iran-backed terrorist organization whose motto is, I don't know if we can say this on YouTube.
That's true.
Someone is great. Death to someone. Can you say that?
Death to someone else.
and curse on those people. And victory to us.
And curse on them.
Can you say any of that? As far as mottos go, that's very wordy.
This is like
It's not like
it's
just
like
do it.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it is 3 things. It's like that's very lengthy.
this is a great like Mad Libs thing though. It's like
Yes.
blank is great. Blank death to blank.
That's too wordy. I don't know who they ran this by, but my first thought would have been like it's a little too long.
We're gonna start a terrorist organization, Mad Libs, where we just take their like manifestos and pull out all the words.
Can you imagine that on the back of a T-shirt at your terrorist organization? You're like, this is pretty long.
After the October 7th attacks on Israel by Hamas, the Houthis started launching attacks on Israel and on international shipping.
That's where they're getting them.
And they created havoc for global trade throughout 2024. So they started bombing the shipping lanes.
Or like causing problems in the shipping routes and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's actually smart.
Goldberg was a fly on the wall in the discussion as it went back and forth about when the attack should take place, the pros and cons of waiting, and who was in this group. Do we get into who was in it?
JD Vance, Peter
Do you know who
Hegseth.
JD Vance is?
Vice President, yeah.
Peter Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard.
He's the new, you know Hegseth?
No.
New defense secretary, Tulsi Gabbard.
I know
you know
that
who
is.
that is. Okay.
Michael Waltz, Shoot, I thought I wrote this
The
down.
hilarious thing is all of these people are supposed to be in charge of our national security, and they let a journalist into their group chat.
I actually love that. I hope that guy was just like screenshotting it and sending it to everybody else.
He did screenshot all of it, and he did write an article about it for The Atlantic.
But what it does do now is just it lets them know they were going to get bombed, so now they're on high alert. We're going to have to bomb someone else.
No, well, what happened? So they went back and forth about when this attack should take place, the pros and cons of waiting, and there was a lot of bitching about Europe being a bunch of freeloaders.
That's so funny.
I also think it's evidence that every single group chat is really just people talking about someone, and in this case, it's Europe, which is why group chats are horrible.
But they're also
just
great.
traceable gossip.
They are.
No, they're great. But nothing good ever comes of a group chat.
No way. If somebody said they were going to show everyone your group chats, wouldn't you just throw your phone into a river?
You'd be fine.
I'd throw my phone into a river.
I have decided to leave the group chat, and I don't want to be added back. If you are angry that I have drifted apart from Muff Mob, know it was you that pushed me away.
It's funny, too, what a chip on his shoulder J.D. Vance has for anything elite. Even though he went to all these elites, because it's like he was poor, so poor, and coming from he never shook that. He never shook
I like to see someone that still has that grudge.
that like poor complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
You
it's
can
like
respect it.
he's still like, fuck you, Europe, and your fancy cheese. So on Saturday, March 15th, Hegseth made a comment that contained operational details of forthcoming strikes on Yemen, including information about targets, weapons the U.S. would be deploying, and attack sequencing. And then 2 hours later, bombs fell in Yemen. And that's when Goldberg realized that this was indeed the actual people who run America, who accidentally let him into the group chat.
This honestly does just sound like a movie Jeff Goldblum was doing. Like, yeah, I haven't heard about Yemen in like 2 decades.